My name is Edward Einhorn. I'm a student in the Department of Judaic Studies at Brooklyn College at the City University of New York. The course I'm taking is Judaic Studies 44. The teacher is Professor Haft. I'm interviewing my father about the Holocaust era. My father's name is Mrtin Einhorn. He lives on 1546 53rd Street in Brooklyn. Can you please tell us about your early childhood? You had told me that you had learned in yeshiva and how you felt afterwards that you were torn away from your learnings because of the Nazi Holocaust. Like you can start from the beginning mainly, you know?
Yes. Well, since my early childhood, I was learning first in Cheder. We lived in Bratislava, that's the Jewish name for that, it's Pressburg, that's the city from Sam Seufer. And in the city was voll mit Teure and mit Knowing, and the Yeshiva Gedoyle was there, which was under the supervision of the Rav from the city, the Pressburger Rav, Schreiber.
Well, tell me, how do you consider yourself in yeshiva? Were you one of the better pupils?
Yes, I was a little more than average. I was better, especially later when I went in the yeshiva away from Pressburg, and I learned in Duna Serdehel and in...
Where is Serdehel?
That's about 30 miles away from Pressburg, and then I learned in Nitra.
Nitra? How long were you in Nitra around?
2 years.
2 years?
Yes. And I learned there a few years, and we had studying, we were advanced in studying, and already I wanted to become a rabbi to get smicha there, and I was started the whole story, and it started to change in Fori. The Germans occupied Czechoslovakia, and right away started the bad life, and they made it restrictions that they closed the rabbinical schools, and they took away my father's business.
What sort of business was your father in?
Wine business.
Wine business. Mm-hmm.
And it started the trouble. So, and then they wanted to make the city free of Jews, and they sent away the Jews in the smaller cities around, and we was also sent away to a smaller city in the country. I came back after a half year.
Who sent you away?
The Germans.
The Germans?
Yes, the Germans. They sent away. They wanted to make the city for Judenfrei.
Oh, free
to have
Jews.
a free
Yeah,
of Jews.
Yeah.
So, and I came back to Pressburg because it was a few Jews who remained still in Pressburg, and I got there some by friends, some work by mainly in a place where there were a Jewish owner whose business was taken over by a German, and the German took me in because I had some experience by wine for my father's business. I worked by him for a little while, and then I was in, that was in 42. My whole family was deported from the city in 41. They was deported and perished. Looks like in Kelm, Lublin, in this area, because in this time there wasn't even Auschwitz, because Auschwitz was settled only in 42. And I was when I in the city of Pressburg, and they catched me once when I was hearing the BBC, the English broadcasting company at night. That was in 42, end of 42, and they took me to the Gestapo and they beat me, and they wanted to know who else used to come to that place, because that was a place where a few of the Slovaks used to come together and hear the radio. They took me in the Gestapo, and I was there for 3 days. I was beaten severely, and then through Rabbi Weissmandl, who has some connections by the Germans, he arranged mine escape.
Who's Rabbi Weissmandl?
Rabbi Weissmandl, he was from Nitra.
What sort of position did he hold by the Germans? Was he from the Judenrat?
He was by the Judenrat, yes. He was by the Judenrat, and he has by the Germans a position that he know them, and he was the, and he did a lot of things. He helped a lot of people, and he also paid off the Germans in our area in Czechoslovakia, that from 42 still 44 there was no deportation, because it was paid up, and mainly by him, by Rabbi Weissmandl, and that was a sum of money, a big sum of money that he received through the Sally Meyer from St. Gallen in Schweiz, and he handed it over to the Germans, and through this the Jews in our city in Pressburg were saved from 42 till 44, when the Germans changed the higher Gestapo the band, the band, there when they changed it, so then it started again the Zores. And the Rabbi Weissmandl arranged my escape from the Gestapo.
Your escape or your release?
No, my escape, it wasn't a free release, just he arranged the escape, that he should let me escape. I went to Hungary, and I was there for a year, and in this time the Jews in Hungary didn't believe so much what he was told about what happens with the other Jews, and he wasn't ready to help right away if somebody come over, and told him that he's escaped from there, and maybe they was afraid for themselves also, because if they captured somebody who was from Slovakia who come over to them, then they put themselves in prison. So I was there for a year, and then when it started in 43, under 43, when I started in Hungary, that he took there the Jews in the ghettos, I went back to Slovakia, to Czechoslovakia, to Pressburg, and naturally not, that was in the night, to some wooden area where I went over the granite, and I came back in Pressburg, and I was captured when I came in the city, and then it started the deportation again.
They captured you in what city, though?
When I came over from Hungary, when I came back.
Pressburg?
They captured me before Pressburg. When I came by night, they captured me. And they put me in a little city named Novaki. I was there for about 3 weeks. That was like, let's say, a ghetto, where they hold the people still. They would start the deportation. Then they started the deportation. The situation was very bad, and everybody felt very pessimistic, and we knew already everything what happens with our families, and the friend who was deported in 42, and we knew that when we are deported we wouldn't come back. So when I was in the train, so we jumped from the train, and the whole wagon, we were in a cattle wagon. There was about 60 or 65 people. We were together, put together, and when we come by Humane, we jumped from the train, one after the other, and a lot of them jumped in the electric stang wat jaar by the train, alongside the train, and a lot of people were killed there on the place. I was hit a little bit, but I wasn't too bad injured. I got back somehow to the city, to Pressburg, and again there I come in connection with Rav Weissmandl, and he helped me again, and I get some papers and some money from him and a place where to be hidden. And so I was in the city still in 44, about in September, when they deported all the Jews, the remains of all the Czechoslovakian Jews that was this time in Bratislava. And I came to Auschwitz right after that, and the conditions in Auschwitz in this time also was very bad, and it was disorganized because the Russian front was nearing, and it was the last weeks of that the gas chambers worked. So they killed a lot of people in this time, and especially a lot of Hungarian Jews, and also the Greek Jews was in this time a lot of them in Auschwitz. And I was in Auschwitz about 4 months, and then the Russian front came near, and the Germans evacuated Auschwitz, and they took us to Germany. I came to Bergen-Belsen. I was there about 4 or 5 months, still the liberation in May of 45. I was very sick at the time of the liberation, and the Americans put me in a hospital, and they kept me there for a few months still, and then I went home. I was to look, I wanted to see if somebody from my parents or my brothers or my sister would be back in this time, but nobody was back, and it looks like I was the only one who survived from my family. And then I was there in still 46, and in 46 I came to Austria, and from Austria 3 years later to the United States.
Tell me, what was your feelings, you know, that you weren't able to continue your studies? What was your attitude towards the Germans? What was your attitude towards other Jews? Could this have been foreseen? What was your attitude towards the rebellion, besides that rabbi who was very helpful to you?
Well, in this time, in Slovakia, this time there was the whole country was full of yeshivas and big scholars schools and Pressburg alone was a big yeshiva of a few hundred bocherim, were bigger bocherim. They was learning there, and it was very nice in this time. I liked it very much, and it started at once to change everything. And naturally, it was a very, very sad thing what happened. That was a big disappointment that it turned this way.